Hi everyone. So today we're going to talk about custom build versus WordPress on for law firms basically. So when we talking about websites for law firms, there are basically seven quantities or seven features that we must actually look at before we decide whether to go on WordPress or custom build. So the first thing that I've written already to save some time, and we're going to talk about trust and the image, right? So that's one of the most important things for a law firm. And the first question is, which option builds more credibility for prospective clients? Um, then we're going to talk about control and flexibility, which is again very important point, and that means how flexible it is to scale and grow your website when you basically are your firm is also scaling along with that. Then the most important, and this is the most concerning thing for most of the law firms, and that is the security, because you need to save the client data into your website, and it should be highly secure with GDPR and sometimes HIPAA compliance as well. Now then, about growth and scalability. So again, should the website be adaptable to your needs and how well you can scale the website for the future reference. And if it is going to help you, let's suppose you grow up and then your website needs a full built-in membership or a client portal where they can share, documents, the personal, very sensitive documents. So will you be able to add on that client portal, and how easy it is to do that with the setup that we're gonna discuss today. So then comes maintenance and support, because again, it comes down to whether you will be the person maintaining it, whether it's going to be an in-house team or whether an external team or a developer that you're going to hire to do that. Then comes marketing and SEO, because obviously the first goal of a law firm is to be seen, right? And to be seen, you need to have a robust SEO done with the website. So it ranks better. So we're going to discuss that as well on Google or not. Then the most important, and that is the cost versus ROI, because when you're looking at the cost initially and then in the long term, that really helps you decide which is better for you. So we're going to talk about the features now. So one by one, let's look at trust and image. So both the platforms offer great way to build professional websites, and obviously if it's made professionally, the trust and credibility obviously improves. That depends on how well the content is written, the flow of the website, and how well each section communicates the needs of the clients that land on your website. Now, it's not dependent on the platform itself. So we're going to discuss now the features one by one. So when it comes to trust and credibility, it really depends on how it is developed and how professional the developers are. So they can create a professional copy and automatically build trust. That depends also on the content that's written, if it's client first, and how well each section delivers the message that you're going to convey. So I'd give both the platforms same points, because they don't really have any input in this. It's basically more of who is developing your website. Then comes control and flexibility. I would rank custom build always way up higher on that rank, because in custom build you can add anything. Like you can add multiple features, whatever you want. If you're cost sensitive, you can actually build your own or use plugins through APIs. But then WordPress is quicker in the sense that a lot of plugins are already developed, and all you need to do is install them, optimize them, and they start working there. But that also includes their own costs. So that's what we need to understand. As something grows, obviously the plugins are going to cost higher and higher. And one of the issues that WordPress has is that it causes plugin bloat. And that is when a lot of plugins are installed on a website, it slows down your website, which eventually hurts your SEO. Then comes security. For security, obviously you need to have great security, great hosting for WordPress, both of them. But then if you look at the WordPress setup, it's not HIPAA compliant from the back end. It is somehow GDPR compliant, and you can actually use different plugins to do both. But we're going to discuss the cost of these, and they do have a significant difference per year if you look at that. Overall, I'd rate a custom built website to be more secure than a general WordPress website, but both can be achieved for the same level. Then we can talk about the growth and scalability. For growth and scalability, I think WordPress does have a peak where you can reach, and then it doesn't go beyond that. But that covers most of the requirements. But if you really want to control each and every aspect of the website as your firm grows, you might want to add a full-blown web app or convert your website into a web app. That can be done through custom build, and that's much better for the client needs. Then comes the maintenance and support. So generally it is harder to maintain WordPress because about 40% of the websites of the world are using WordPress, and there's a big ecosystem, which means the hackers or the people who are trying to steal information basically have cracked WordPress, and they can actually cause your WordPress website to be vulnerable as well. So most of the time it can be prone to certain attacks, whereas a custom build, because the control and security is basically handled by how well it is coded, so it's much more secure than WordPress. But you can maintain the security of WordPress, but obviously it's going to cost you more. Then comes the marketing and SEO. For marketing and SEO, because I believe you need very high level of optimizations to basically conform to Web Core Vitals, which is a very important thing for SEO, given by Google, specifically how SEO is changing since 2025. So for marketing SEO, I would suggest that you should go for a faster website with right SEO and granular control, and that can be given by a custom build. So I will give a slight edge to custom build because of the speed and natural optimizations that it has over WordPress, where you need to hire somebody to keep on doing the website SEO and make sure that it stays speed optimized. Now let's talk about the cost and ROI. Now naturally the cost of custom build, because it's coded, has to be more, but then WordPress is easier to set up and start with. But in the long term, I believe if you ask somebody, they would always say it really depends on your needs. But I think if you keep the foundations right from the very start, even though the initial investment is more, when you start building upon it, it helps you scale better, and in the long term the ROI is much less. So let's talk about that now. So typically when you look at WordPress website, you realize that the initial cost from an offshore development company can be varied, but on average we could say a starter website would cost you $1,500, and then you need a stable website because you're a law firm, and then you need a very secure, good hosting. So that would cost you around $125 on average, and then and that's per month as well. And then for average maintenance per month, you need to pay somebody to maintain your website about $300 per month as well. So if you calculate the overall cost per year and then you multiply it by 5 years, so that would come around at minimum $27,000 in 5 years, which is a significant amount to invest in WordPress. But the biggest complication is not about that. It's basically the ongoing maintenance that you see, which we do not see in custom build. Now, if you look at the custom built website, obviously the higher initial cost is much higher. It could go from few $1,000s to 25 or 50 or 100K as well. But initially, if you want to get it developed from offshore, it can cost you around $3,000, and then you can host it on really good hosting setups like Vercel and Netlify. They give you the security and the features in just $20 per month. And even if you're just you're starting now, you can take up normal hosting, which is absolutely free as well. For maintaining it, obviously there are always updates to the codes, and new versions come up, so you need to update it, which means obviously you need to hire a developer. But generally people, freelancers or offshore companies, do it for on average $150 per month. That comes down to a 5-year cost of $13,200, which is less than half of what you're paying over 5 years. So like I said, initial investment is more, but if you look at the return of investment, you get the return much faster with custom development rather than WordPress. So that's one thing that I want to tell you. Finally, let's look at the GDPR and HIPAA compliance. For GDPR, WordPress needs some plugins. We're going to discuss it in another website, which plugins you need. But typically, you need $320 to $720 extra on top of the hosting to get it done per year. Whereas the custom only requires the hosting, so that is $240 per year. Then for HIPAA, you need a a lot more, which is around 1740 to 3240 US dollars per year, which is a hefty amount. Whereas custom, it stays the same, because for 20 US dollars per month, you're still getting the same features. So when it comes to deciding for your law firm whether you want to go towards WordPress or custom, I'd always recommend a custom built website, because it has better scalability. No doubt it is higher initial investment, but the ROI in 5 years is a lot more. And what we should, as business owners or law firm owners, should pick is the one that brings us better SEO, better stability, and peace of mind. So this was all for today, and we will be talking about another video, how we can actually